Hi gorgeous, welcome back to my channel. Let's do a full face of Nars makeup. I like to do one and done makeup and I love doing something simple and easy for my everyday mom life. So I'm going to be doing just all Nars, well at least everything that I have. Some of the things that I don't have, I'll fill in the gaps with my favorite products, but for the most part, mostly Nars. I'm going to start off with the new light reflecting primer. I have used this multiple times since I bought it a few weeks ago. This thing reminds me very much of the Tatcha Liquid Silk Canvas, but quite a bit more luminous. It is a little more reflective than I would like for it to be. It lasts just as long and it works just as well as my Tatcha Liquid Silk. My only complaint about this is that it's still too glowy. It's just too luminous. However, I do think for the most part it will work well with a more matte foundation. So I guess I would just like to balance it with matte foundations over luminous foundations. I don't really think I like using it with more of my luminous ones. I find it looks like it's breaking down a little bit more if I use a more luminous foundation like Fenty's new Soft Lit foundation. But I really like this primer, and like I said, it reminds me of my Tatcha Liquid Silk. I do not have the Nars color corrector. In fact, they are half off on the website right now as I'm filming this, and the shade that I needed is already sold out, so it wouldn't even matter. I have the Nars Light Reflecting Eye Brightener in the shade Night Swan, and I also have the Soft Matte Complete Concealer in the shade 2.5 Creme Brulee. When I bought this one, my skin tone was a little bit darker and I could wear it. Now, not so much. It would be noticeable if I tried to apply it. I mean, look at this shade. It's too deep for me right now. I could probably use it for color correcting, but this one works better for me, at least right now. I'm going to use a Danessa Myricks My 10 brush. I have a few friends that popped up out of nowhere. My skin is not doing the best. I'm getting over a very nasty cold. You could probably still hear it in my voice. I've already filmed once today, so I still have like little residue of makeup on my face. I did my best to clean. And then I just really feel like, in general, my skin is not looking the best from the tretinoin that I'm doing. However, I am moisturizing as well as could be possible. I have found that both the Soft Matte Concealer and the Eye Brightener are just too heavy for my under eyes, so I have to be very careful how much I use. So I have two foundations here. I have the Light Reflecting in the shade Yukon, and I have the Soft Matte in the shade Light 1 Oslo. When I bought Yukon, I was a little bit darker. When I bought the Soft Matte, well, you get the drift. I'm going to combine these. One, I prefer the Light Reflecting foundation over the Soft Matte Complete. I like this one for summer. I don't like wearing it entirely on its own. I like to mix it actually. It's a little too matte for me, but I think with this primer, this would actually be great. However, for shade purposes and because I just want to, I'm going to combine both of these like 2-to-1 soft matte, well, 2-to-1 light reflecting to soft matte. I put it on the back of my hand. I'm going to use my BK Beauty 101 brush and I'm going to just kind of mix them together and slap it all over my face. And I haven't tried this combination with this primer yet, so I'm actually really curious to see how it looks. I have been working on my hair growth for about 3 months now. I started Vegamore back in March and I completely forgot about my subscription. Vegamore resent my June subscription. Honestly, if they would change one thing, just alert me ahead of time that my subscription is about to renew, I would appreciate that. They did not alert me and I was caught off guard. I thought someone had hacked my account. I was like, what? Because it shipped out at 4 in the morning and it said I ordered it at 4 in the morning. I was like, I was asleep. That was not like, just next time warn me, please, Vegamore, if you're watching this, and you probably are not. But that said, I forgot all about it and I realized I'm 3 months in and I decided to go back and kind of look at my older videos and see where my hair growth started from and where it's at now. So I went to the dermatologist. I had a biopsy taken of my scalp to kind of see what's going on. I don't have the results back yet. I'm really curious to see if it's a temporary hair loss or if it's permanent alopecia. I have more severe hair loss now than I did when I started. My hair has thinned out so much. I've lost quite a bit, especially around the sides. The majority of my hair, I keep it pulled back because I don't know what to do with it anymore. The majority of my hair is gone throughout the sides. Not so much in the center, like I still have quite a bit lost right here. I don't think that my hair is permanent. Like deep down inside, I hope it's temporary and it'll grow back. But I'm at that phase right now where I feel like I'm better off just cutting my hair off, cutting the majority of my hair short, and starting to wear some wigs until it does grow back. My dermatologist mentioned that it might take 6 months for my hair to kind of stop falling out if it is temporary, and quite possibly up to a year. I'm really hoping it's definitely not going to take that long because I don't think I'll have any hair left. This is the Nars Radiant Creamy Concealer. I picked up the shade L2. I have worn this quite a few times. I like the formula. I think it's a very good formula. However, I don't like the doe foot. I feel like I don't get enough product on the doe foot. It actually really irritates me. I have to like go back in more than once, which vexes me. I do think that the combination for the foundation I used worked out pretty well. So since seeing my dermatologist and getting a biopsy done, I am debating cutting my hair off. My husband told me not to do it, told me to wait for my results. I'm gonna wait for the results. But also I just feel like I don't have much hair left and I don't know what to do outside of just keeping my hair up in a clip. And I feel really bored with that. It's not fun. But every time I put my hair up, I also feel like you can see more of my bald spots, which also disappoints me and kind of affects my self-esteem. And I don't know anyone who wouldn't have their self-esteem affected by this. So I told my dermatologist that I started Vegamore, but she wants me to start Rogaine for men. I guess the ingredients in there are better for overall for women as well. And it's kind of an upcharge for the women with less ingredients. This is the new light reflecting setting spray. I have been using this for about a month now. I love this setting spray. It's not matte and long wearing as the Charlotte Tilbury. There's kind of a trade-off here. It's more luminous. The Charlotte Tilbury is a little bit more matte and I find the longevity there is better. But I don't wear my makeup that long all the time, so I really, really like this one, and I've been using this one more often throughout just doing my makeup, whether I've done my foundation and concealer and then a little bit of powder, so I use this quite a bit more. And this one has a soft coconut scent to it. I mean, I could do without it, but it has a pleasing scent. One of my all-time favorite cream bronzers is the Nars cream bronzer. I have mine in the shade Laguna 01. I know there's like 5 or 6 Lagunas. This one is the lightest one. I love this one. Of all of my cream bronzers, this one is my favorite. I'm going to use a Danessa Myricks My 6 brush. I like to place it before I powder though. I don't really like using cream bronzer over powder. I feel like it's easier to just put my cream bronzer on and then powder. But yeah, as far as my hair growth journey goes, it's going to be an interesting year. I'm going to hit 40 at the end of the year and either be bald or see a bunch of growth that I have desperately been missing. My doctor did mention it can be caused by severe stress and just hormonal changes in general. And I did have my son in December of 2023, so there's that. I do travel nursing and night shifts, so I'm always flipping my sleep, so there's also that against me. I mean, I have a lot working against me, so I'm not surprised that I'm under a lot of stress and that my hormones are definitely out of whack. Thanks for that, doc. She did mention that women over the age of 35 tend to see more hair loss in general. And honestly, I I hate when doctors mention, oh, it's because you're over the age of 35. Like when I was pregnant, they mentioned I'm a geriatric pregnancy, and I'm just like, can we not do that to women anymore? That'd be great. This is what I mean by this is just the perfect shade, and it's so seamless for my skin. I love it. You can barely tell that I'm wearing bronzer. One, the shade is perfect, but also two, it just blended in so smoothly you can't even tell. I do not have any liquid or cream blushes from Nars. However, I do have a sample. I have a sample of the Afterglow liquid blush in the shade, well, oh, I'm not going to say it, but you know, Morgan Turner hates this blush. I have never tried this in my life. I'm going to give it a shot. I want to see what all the fuss is about. I'm not going to buy it if I don't like it, but I like the fact that I do have a sample. And if I hate it, I mean, I'm saving myself some money. That is a lot on the back of my hand. Oh, it's quite runny. Interesting. Ooh, kind of like sticky. Let me see if I can work it into my brush a little bit better. Okay, moment of truth, because I don't know if I like this texture on my hand. Ooh, that is very dewy. It is really thick on my cheek. I can feel how, I can just feel it. Okay, I'm not really sure I like the viscosity of it. And I'm trying to avoid picking up too much because I know I squeezed out too much of it, but like there's more than one application's worth in there. And it's not like I'm going to be able to just save that package and use it for another day. It doesn't feel as light and airy as the Huda Beauty blush filter, which I love. This feels quite a bit thicker. I don't know. First impressions, I'm not wowed by it. It's not tearing up my foundation. It's definitely quite a bit glowy. I do enjoy glowy blushes, not like highlight type of glowy, but luminous like this, dewy. Ooh, that's a little bit more sticky. It's got some stickiness to it, a little bit of tack. It would definitely need help in setting. Like I just used the Huda Beauty blush filter and that one did not need any assistance with setting and it did not have a tacky touch. Yeah, I don't know if that's for me. I don't think I would actually enjoy that blush as much as some people do. I'm not really sure I see why Morgan hates it so much, but I mean, it's not the worst blush I've ever used. It's just definitely not a standout. I'm going to powder my under eyes and set that blush with some powder. It's still too tacky for my liking. This is the Nars Light Reflecting Setting Powder. I have mine in the shade Translucent Crystal, which I think is the only shade. This thing is a little too matte for me. It's listed as light reflecting, so it's supposed to be a little more luminous. I don't find that to be the case. I find it to be a little heavy for powder. And Nars is releasing the new Light Reflecting Interstellar. I think that's what that is. It's a new purplish looking setting powder and pressed powder. I am looking forward to trying that. I don't particularly like this on my under eyes, but it's brightening and I know it will set my makeup just fine. It's not a standout product to me. Now the pressed powder, I do like the pressed version. I'm not sure why, because I feel like if I like the pressed powder, why wouldn't I like the loose powder? But I don't. Well, let me rephrase that. I do like the loose powder, just not as much as the pressed powder, so I don't know why. My foundation still looks really good right now, but I don't know if you can see what I mean by the powder is just a little too matte in my T-zone for being light reflecting. So I'm going to use the matte powder blush. This is in the shade X Appeal. This was the newest launch. I believe it was just reformulated. Either way, I love this peachy shade. It is perfect for fair skin. Hello, if you're fair skin like myself, this shade is perfect. I'm going to use this over that liquid blush that I just placed. I have just been having so much fun with this blush because it makes all of my one and done, like easy mom looks, well, easy looks, but all of my easy looks that much better because it is such a subtle shade and very flattering. I've never actually worn it over a liquid blush though. I don't recall that I have, but either way, using this, oh, one of my favorite soft, subtle blushes. I never had any of the previous blushes, so I don't know if they are worse than this or if they're the same or better. Honestly, I just don't know, but this one is good. The formula is amazing. So I do not have a Nars highlighter. In fact, I don't think I've seen them release any new highlighters in so long. I'm going to use my Nars palette here, the face palette that launched, I want to say it was 2 summers ago. It's the On the Beach one. I'm going to use this highlighter shade Turtle Bay because this one I know will work for me. It's pretty flattering. I like this light reflecting formula. I think it's a very solid formula. It's very flattering. I have to look, but I don't think they have a light reflecting formula highlight. I need a shade that suits my skin tone in just a single. I'm going to spray this one more time and then I'm going to do my lips and then move on to eyes. My face looks absolutely wonderful. The makeup is coming along perfectly. I don't have a Nars lip liner, so I'm going to use my Hourglass. This is in the shade number 1. This one is a great solid lip liner if you do not have any other lip liners. Hourglass has an amazing formula, but I know this is about Nars. I just don't have lip liner from Nars. So this is actually one of my favorite lip combos. This is the, like I said, Hourglass number 1 lip liner. But this lipstick from Nars, this is the Soft Matte Tinted Lip Balm. I have mine in the shade Unrestricted. Currently 50% off as I'm filming this on the Nars website. I don't know why. I don't know if they're getting rid of this or not, but this is such a good formula. I'm really sad that they want to get rid of this. But I love this with the lip liner from Hourglass. The contrast is so beautiful. And the formula is so comfortable. This is what I mean by it is the perfect combo. It is so beautiful. I love this lip combination. It just feels comfortable and it looks so good. It just looks so good. Honestly, if you're a lip gloss girl, slap a lip gloss on there and you are good to go. Now for some one and done eyeshadow. Nars has this new eyeshadow stick. I have mine in the shade Don't Touch. It's called the Total Seduction eyeshadow stick. I have worn this for about 3 weeks now since it launched. I love the shade first off. It's a cool tone shade. The formula is very soft on my eyes. It does have good longevity. I won't lie to you, the longevity isn't as long as I would prefer it to be, but I did find when I placed it over my Sigma base that it lasted even longer, and I didn't have that creasing in my folds here as noticeably. It still creases if you wear it for more than 8 hours, you can see the creasing, but when I used it over my Sigma base, I did not have that creasing, and it lasted all night when I went to work, and you couldn't see any creasing. It was beautiful. So I'm going to place my Sigma Persuade base first. And this is just a Danessa Myricks My 2 brush. Actually, I love the shape of this brush. So now I'm going to use my Nars shadow stick. I have used this with layering. I have put shadows over the top of it. I have used this all on its own. It builds on its own very well. You don't have caking with it. I don't have to work quickly. I feel like it still gives you enough time after you place the shadow on your lids to maneuver it, which is my favorite part. And for this, I'm going to use a Danessa Myricks My 27 eye brush. I find the softness of this brush and the stiffness at the same time, and being synthetic actually helps make this product move around a little bit easier. I was saying earlier that I started tretinoin and my skin has been definitely feeling it. I'm a lot drier than what I normally am. I've been prepping really well, but what I've noticed since I started a month ago is that my skin is clearer. I don't get a whole lot of acne. It's very rare that I do. In fact, the only acne I really ever get is from wearing a mask at work, but my skin is a lot clearer. I've noticed that some of the age spots on my face have lightened up quite a bit. The freckles around my nose have lightened up. In fact, I noticed that my frown lines here between my eyebrows have almost completely disappeared after 1 month. I am very happy about those results so far. I'm very curious to see how my forehead will look after a year. So for 1 month of using it, my forehead has looked a lot better. I don't find that the creasing in my forehead is nearly as noticeable, at least with my makeup on. Without makeup, I mean, it looks a heck of a lot better. Not nearly as noticeable. But with makeup on, that was always kind of a sore spot for me. I felt like you could always see those canyons in my forehead. It never really made me feel confident. And there weren't a whole lot of primers or powders that would work well over it. I wasn't too concerned about my freckles. My freckles were not a source of a concern for me at all. I don't need tretinoin for freckles, but it's just kind of a side effect. It will lighten up your freckles if you have freckles. If it's something you don't want, don't bother starting it. And yes, I'm only 39 and I have a long way to go before I have deeper wrinkles, but I do have fine lines. And just because you can't really see them all the time doesn't mean that, you know, that I don't see them and that they're not a source of concern for me. So I'm pretty happy with how everything has gone after 1 month. I use Aquaphor at night after I use my tretinoin. Aquaphor is occlusive, so if you are sensitive to any type of retinol, do not stick Aquaphor over that. It is occlusive. You might feel more sensitivity, more dryness. Be careful. That is so quick. Using this is just so quick and so easy. My favorite thing about this is it works in my waterline. It doesn't make my eyes tear up, and it lasts all day in my waterline. This is it as far as eyeshadow goes. I'm going to go ahead and use a mascara and a liner off camera. I don't own a mascara or a liner from Nars. I used to have the Climax mascara years ago, and I never repurchased it. I liked it. I don't know why I didn't repurchase it. But I'm going to do a wing off camera, not offline, goodness gracious, and then come back. This is my completed eye look. I'm going to finish off my face with the pressed light reflecting powder. I feel like this will just brighten it all up a little bit. I like the pressed powder I mentioned earlier. I prefer it over the loose powder. I feel like the loose powder is just a little too matte, but I feel like the pressed one definitely gives me more of that luminosity and brightens up my T-zone the way I'd like for it to. That's it. I finished off my eyes with the bright lashes in the style Flutter. They are half lashes, and I used my Lisa Eldridge Kitten Flick liner. I had a little bit of difficulty with it. Ever since I did my swatching video, my eyelids have been so dry, so I ended up using just a plain black matte shadow to place over the top of it because it was kind of not looking as straight as I would like for it to. I wanted this to just be a simple one and done look, but there was a part of me that just had to have a wing and just needed a little extra flair, and well, you know, I can't ever do anything simple. But there are plenty of days where I do wear just one eyeshadow and still do a winged liner, and I like that look. I just feel like it's so beautiful and so flattering. I love that I finally got to do this video. I had been planning it for so long, and I'm so happy I had the chance to finally sit down with you and get this done. I love it. I love my look. Nars is just getting left behind. They are doing too many repeats, too many relaunches. It is getting really boring really quickly. They dupe themselves over and over and over, and quite frankly, I feel like if they don't change their eyeshadows primarily, they don't change the majority of their product line to keep up with everyone else, they're gonna get left behind. I'm actually surprised they're still doing as well as they do right now. People seem to be pretty fed up with the recycled material over and over. But as far as I go, I still enjoy a lot of their products. So many of them are still easy for me to reach for. I am guilty of still buying multiple items that have been recycled throughout the years. It's me, I'm the problem. Everything on my face is linked down below. If you click on those links, I do earn a small commission. Thank you so much for supporting my channel. Do something for yourselves today because you are worth it.